Hey, hey, hey. Happy Thursday. Come on in. Pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, shockingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard, everybody. Tonight is Thursday, April 9th, 2026. This is live stream 1308. Much better. I was like, a little frog in my throat. So welcome, everybody. If you are not overly familiar with this show, let me point out it's super casual. Just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop role-playing game news for the most part. Every once in a while, we'll talk a little bit about board games and such. And then I will normally kind of tackle a topic related to our hobby, which I'll be doing tonight. I don't know how interesting it's going to be for some folks out there, but I know there are a few people who watch the show who are curious about this. So I am going to reveal something behind the scenes. I am going to pull the curtain back. I'm going to talk about what I actually earn running the Gaming Gang. I will tell you exactly what it is. You will probably be shocked, possibly appalled. So that's a maybe as well. So welcome, everybody. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you are never going to find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. And then, of course, because this is a live stream, there is chat available. Now, you must be a subscriber to the channel for at least 60 whole minutes. I know it's practically an eternity for some people out there. But if you check off that box and you want to say howdy, maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my absolute best to respond. First out the gate tonight is Semper Buffo. The Madman is with us, as is Harvey Chuckles, showing up on time. They said it, not me. Mark Hawkswell's here, as is Michael Berry, Bard the Bear Wolfson. And I think that's everybody popping up in chat at the moment. We might actually have the lovely and talented Miss Sarah D joining forces with the Madman as our two chat moderators tonight. It is a possibility. So Michael Berry says, hey, must have pissed someone off, Jeff. No notification for tonight's show. I always have gotten them. Come on, did we not just have an entire episode talking about this? Do not expect notifications on any channel you subscribe to, and ring the bell and ask for all notifications. Probably not going to happen. Yes. That was a prior topic. We're not diving back into that tonight. Oh, no. What we are going to dive into is the news of the day. So first off, Goodman Games is now taking part in the Mega Dungeon Month over on Backer Kit. I've got the lowdown on Castle White Rock for both Dungeon Crawl Classics or 5e Dungeons and Dragons. This massive this massive Mega Dungeon box set contains a year of adventure, Explore 30 dungeon levels beneath a crumbling ancient castle. Discover plots set in motion by not one, but two crafty dragons. Seek their lairs to recover priceless treasure or die trying. It's an enormous box set and contains 6 books, poster maps, and 500 plus pages of adventure. You can actually upgrade to a clamshell edition for loose leaf handouts, pre-gens, and more poster maps. You can add on the campaign journal to record your memories. You can also add on unique glass and bloodstone Dungeon Crawl Classics dice, which most of us in the know refer to as Zaki dice, which have never been offered before. This project is over 1,400% funded. I will say that I think the goal was pretty low to kick off with, so kind of built in to have a pretty high percentage of funding. But regardless, you can reserve the box set of the flavor of your choice with PDFs for a $79.99 pledge. Yeah, I noticed Backer Kit's now doing 99 cents on their pledges. Everybody used to just be like, okay, on the dollar, no change. Well, now I guess we're doing change. If you want to grab just the PDF alone, you can reserve that for a pledge of $47. And let's not forget that 99 cents again. Through May 1st, the expected fulfillment on this is the first quarter of next year. I know people were curious about this. So we do have the 5e edition and the Dungeon Crawl Classics edition. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. Here's something I'm kind of curious about, though, because we actually have another Mega Dungeon month entry coming up in just a few moments. I wonder if all of these Mega Dungeon crowdfunding projects hitting Backer Kit right now are cannibalizing each other. I kind of get the feeling because there's a big difference between Zine Month, right? Or Zine, isn't it called Zine Quest? I think they do over on Kickstarter. And big box Mega Dungeon sets. So I would think that some of these projects are probably suffering because of all the competition that's out there at the moment. Now, I'm not trying to dissuade you from checking this out because I'm sure it's cool. I'm just kind of curious because this is actually the third news piece we've shared over a couple of days. I will have the 4th Mega Dungeon month entry in just a couple of moments. But before we get to that, let's talk about Kobold Press because they're now taking pre-orders for the Creature Codex Revised. And I've got the latest. The infamous bestiary resurrected. From within an ancient vault, a tome of horrors, dungeon dwellers, and even stranger foes emerge for another round against your unsuspecting party. Creature Codex Revised brings Kobold Press's classic monsters into the 2024 edition of Dungeons and Dragons. Within its pages, you'll find updated stat blocks and abilities for over 400 deadly enemies. Wage war against the living with an army of the undead, including ghost dragons, grave behemoths, and zombie lords. Unleash unearthly beings like the bizarre Ahuzixa, flying polyps, and the Arcanophage. Challenge your heroes with the might of void giants, desert trolls, and a host of demons and devils. These and many other adversaries await your players in Creature Codex Revised. The 416-page hardcover is set to arrive in June. Carries an MSRP of $59.99. If you want to grab the PDF, it is going to be available for $39.99. It is not over on Drive-Thru RPG just yet. And if you order the PDF, I think you have to wait till June to get it. I don't think this is a situation where you'll get the PDF right away. So just pointing that out. mentioning that. All righty. So let's see. Sarah D is with us tonight. She said we should come up with a secret handshake. Or maybe that's just for her and the madman. Seeing they're the chat moderators. DB is with us, as is Danny W. Gable. Let's see. I think that might be it. As far as our newcomers in chat, no. As soon as I said that, the rest of chat finally loaded. Boomerman Dan Webb and Kevin R. Smith also in the house, as is W. Forge. Kevin R. Smith says the difference between Mega Dungeon Month and Zine Quests are the zines are at least relatively cheap, so lots of people can afford more than one. Yes, that's what I'm implying with the Mega Dungeon Month, because there are quite a few publishers. Somebody just mentioned the Traveler for 5e. We talked about that last night. I got to be honest, I really don't have any interest in sharing news about it. Weirdly enough, because I love Traveler, don't get me wrong. I don't like the artwork to it that I've seen. It's not Mongoose. It's world's largest or world's biggest RPGs is the company that's doing it. Bard the Bear Wolfson is was the one mentioning that with the Traveler 5e. Kevin R. Smith says, yeah, the top levels for Castle White Rock are clamshell boxes for 5e and Dungeon Crawl Classics. Yes. Kind of odd. Oh, so Bard the Bear Wolfson was saying that they're talking about the cost. So, yes, there we go. All righty. Cool beans. So let's talk about another one of those Mega Dungeon Month releases, because Trollord Games is crowdfunding the second act of Gary Gygax's Castle Zagyig. Here's the scoop. Here you'll pass beyond the Citadel, Volume 1, the Ruins, Volume 2, and the Cellars, Volume 3, to plunge into the Mad Mage's darkest depths with the Dungeons, Volume 4, and the Caverns, Volume 5. If ye dare to pass through all these, you'll reach the heart of the darkest mystery in Eastmark, the site of Zagyig's endgame. This is the second of two crowdfunding campaigns. The first, Castle Zagyig Galleries of the Archmage Act 1, was a huge success thanks to the incredible Trollord Games community. Now they are back with Act 2, which includes all the dungeon levels, maps, and encounters needed to forge your way through the Mad Mage's labyrinthine castle. These materials have never been published before, and the Trollords are working tirelessly to produce the complete mega dungeon that Gary envisioned. Included in this campaign is Volume 4, The Dungeons, with dungeon levels 6 to 9 and sub-levels. It's available as a box set as well as hardcover. The Volume 5 features The Caverns, with dungeon levels 10 through 17 with their sub-levels, box set, and hardcover. With your help, the Trollords are halfway through their efforts to bring to shelves worldwide Gary Gygax's Castle Zagyig in all of its glory. It is a monstrous project, one with an incredible legacy. Their goal is to see all the material in Castle Zagyig released in 5 full-color hardcover volumes, each in its own box with relevant game maps. Castle Zagyig is written and designed to be played with Castles and Crusades. Now, the previous volumes included The Citadel, which is the town of Igsburg, which is a box set and hardcover. I shared the hardcover, which I assume is still the same. I don't think they've changed it. I believe the box sets include maps. That's the difference between just getting the hardcover and the box set. Just saying. So yes, so I have shared my review of Castle Zagyig, Book 1, I think. Can't say for sure. I will tell you, I have not seen The Ruins, which is volume 2, which features the castle, Eastmark, Mouths of Madness, and the first level of the dungeon. And then we'll have volume 3, The Cellars, which has dungeon levels 2, 3, 3A, 4, 4A, 5, and yeah, you guessed it, 5A. These 3 volumes are available in this crowdfunding project as add-ons. The current campaign covers volume 4 and volume 5. Now you can reserve the box sets for a $64.99 pledge, as you can see right there in front of you. If you want to grab the PDFs, you can get them for $29.99 each. So keep in mind, each box set is $64.99, at least the 2 that are featured in this crowdfunding project. I think the other boxes are the same. I think they're also $64.99, but I'm not positive. Now, this crowdfunding project is going to run through May 1st. Expected fulfillment is March of next year. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. And yes, sadly, I don't know what's going on with Troll Lord Games. I reached out to my pal Chuck, who's one of the Troll Lords, and said, man, I haven't heard anything from you again. It's weird. It's like we just go into radio silence. And I don't get like press releases and stuff like that. I don't know if my email server is like blocking them or what. I have no idea. But I reached out to him and I said, hey, he's like, well, we're super busy, man. We're not trying to ignore you. I'm like, yeah, I get it. He's trying to keep me in a loop, man. Because this is something I stumbled across, which pretty tight with those Troll Lords. So I should have to stumble across news, right? Right. So there you have it. All right, let's see. Kevin R. Smith says Kobold Press Best Series may be good for variant monsters for 5.5 games. Many 5.5 monsters don't have traditional immunities or resistances. We can also point out that you could use the Creature Codex revised with Tales of the Valiant. Pretty obvious there, I would think. Age of Adventure and Kathy Evans are both with us in chat. Welcome back to you. Very nice to see you. All right, moving right along. Mythic Magazine issue 64 is now out in PDF, and I've got the deets. Mythic Magazine is a monthly e-zine with tips, rules, and more goodies for the Mythic role-playing system, Mythic Game Master Emulator, and the Crafter series from Word Mill Games. This issue contains adventure crafting Mythic, innovative ways to bring the adventure crafter into your Mythic adventures, as well as solo game juggling. Master the art of managing multiple ongoing solo adventures while keeping it fun and stress-free. Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I've ever had a stressful... No, I don't think so. I don't think I've ever been stressed out with a role-playing game. Maybe that's just me. And I'm talking running it, because you all know I don't get an opportunity to play. Sit down and play a role-playing game? Yeah, okay. Once every 5 years on average. Anyway, I should point out, this PDF actually contains layers which will allow you to make the file much more printer-friendly, too. So happy adventuring! The 34-page zine is available right now over at Drive-Thru RPG for $4.95. I've heard good things about Mythic. I'm not a solo role-playing game sort of guy, although I keep telling myself, I got to check out Four Against Darkness or Alone Against the Zone, which we talked about yesterday, right? Yeah. I see. All right, let's move on to our final news piece because available in PDF from Philip Reed Games is Horizon, the Endless City. And here's what I know. Greetings, adventurer. Welcome to Horizon, the city of infinite adventuring possibilities. If you're a fan of urban adventures and dungeon crawls, Horizon was built for you. Although the world is mostly a never-ending urban sprawl, there are mountains, forests, and oceans that sometimes break up the endless city. This also gives you a place that's at wilderness adventures when you need a change of pace. This book features tools to sketch out neighborhoods as well as descriptions of 4 neighborhoods and 5 different locations within each neighborhood. The 61-page PDF is available right now over at Drive-Thru RPG for $10. I like the cover. I think the cover looks pretty cool. And it does look like this is fairly well put together. My understanding, because it's not necessarily clear from the sell sheet info, that this is for fantasy role-playing games. It is system agnostic, although I guess it does point towards Dungeons and Dragons and old school Renaissance. So there you have it. Very nice. Kind of cool. Sounds kind of wild. And Philip Reed is a pretty well-known name in role-playing games. That is for certain. Harvey Chuckle said they use some of the mythic tools at their game table. They're handy when pesky players throw something wild at them. There we go. Dan Webb says every now and then they pick up a Mythic Mad compendium. All right. Kevin R. Smith said they're shocked that I don't get the Trollord Games press releases by email. Should be on an Autobot system. Make sure word gets out. So what happens with, especially if you are running a website and you got a mail server, a lot of times they will flag IP addresses. So IP addresses that are, known as spammers and stuff like that. And IP addresses bounce around all the time. So I think it's a possibility that maybe that's what's happening. Because I know on my Gmail account, I do on occasion get the Trollord newsletter. I don't get it all the time. I get it, I'd say maybe once every 3 months, something like that. So yeah, I know it's weird. It's weird. Don't know what to tell you. All right. Well, actually, I do know what to tell you. That's it for the news tonight. Of course, I mentioned Drive-Thru RPG. Don't forget, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you're going to go visit, say, Drive-Thru RPG, Storytellers Vault, Dungeon Masters Guild, Wargame Vault, any of the numerous One Bookshelf sites, please stop by thegaminggang.com. Click on one of our banners. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get 5% of that sale as a commission, and all those commissions really do add up. Help keep thegaminggang.com around. While I'm talking about Drive-Thru RPG, I should also mention the deal of the day is Volume 1 of Forbidden Gods of the Forbidden North. I knew I was going to vapor lock on the name of the series. I have the 3rd volume. The 3rd volume just came out, and I just got the 3rd volume in the mail. And it's massive. I think it's like 1,600 pages as far as the total count. I even made more than that. So it is the deal of the day. It is $5. I think it's normally $24.99. And if you're curious about it, check out my review. I have reviewed the first 2 volumes. Of course, I got volume 3 on the horizon. It is not on the near horizon because like I said, it is massive, this volume. But it is also going to be our giveaway today, the first volume of Gods of the Forbidden North. Let's see. What trivia question can I throw out there tonight? I don't want it's not going to be something Norse, because even though it's Gods of the Forbidden North, there's no Norse themes. It's not one of these fantasy like Vikings locales, which is actually one of the selling points of the game. So let's see. Probably gonna have to take a minute to figure this out. I'll come up with a trivia question during our brief intermission, which is on the horizon. Yes. So if you're tuning in late, tonight's topic, I am going to actually share with you what I really earn running the gaming gang. I'm going to give you the breakdown. Probably going to be sitting there thinking, is he nuts? Why the hell does he keep doing it? Fire Fritters with us says, sorry I'm late. I didn't get a notification. We know. Oh, we know. Yeah. I'd say I think some people were miffed that last night's show wasn't me like going into deep dives of 5 different role-playing games that are coming out this summer. I never claimed I was going to do that. It's like, just said, 5 tabletop role-playing games that have, caught my eye. Maybe you want to keep your eye open for them as well. I wasn't going to do 10-minute deep dives in each one because they're not out. Some of them we know very, very little about, such as the 5th edition of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. Seen a little bit of artwork. We're being told that it's going to be backward compatible to everything that's come before it in 4th edition. I do not know. We'll find out. We'll see what's going on. But I thought it was kind of funny that I got a little pushback on last night's video. Quite a few people have checked it out. And that wasn't supposed to be like a clickbait title either. So, I don't know. Do not know. Kevin R. Smith says they've got Gods of the Forbidden North Volume 1 from the Volume 3 Kickstarter. It's 482 pages. And right now it's $5. And one of you is going to hopefully walk away with a copy on me as well. All right, we shall find out. Anywho, if you like the video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. If you like the video, if you dig the channel, if you find the Gaming Gang to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, got a couple other ways you can support the outlet. One, by making a single donation, a one-time donation by way of PayPal. And folks who have done that lately, Daniel Webb and Lisa Watkins. You can become a monthly member of our Patreon. And on all the live shows, I like to give a shout out to all our Patreon members. So a tip of the cap to Kaval, Kevin R. Smith, Talzek, Sean O'Donnell, Herman Lutman, Gustavo Cavalho, Kevin King, GameCat, RPG Munch, Tier 2 DM, Pete Stracklich, Dan Webb, Tessie Trekkie, Agile Monk, The Madman, and Flint Fireforge. Thank you all very, very kindly. So, as I had mentioned, I'm going to talk about what I really make doing what I do here. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
Satisfy the kiddies with a bag of crisp, crunchy popcorn. And don't forget to get an extra bag or two to take to the car to munch on during the show. You will also want to take a supply of ice-cold soft drinks or delicious, flavorful coffee to keep you refreshed throughout the next show. Make the evening complete by getting a tasty treat for yourself and every member of your party. Make your visit to our theater a pleasant occasion to be remembered. We'll be richly rewarded with the thought that we have pleased you.
The Volkswagen Carmen Ghia is the most economical sports car you can buy. It's just not the most powerful.
It's the exciting new Daredevil Trick Track with the incredible Dolphin Racer, gear-driven for longer battery life. Daredevil Trick Track, full of fantastic tricks. A sensational new steering track. A wall of logs. A teeter-totter. And it's up, 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 and over we go. A somersault flip. And now, straight through a fly-apart house. Get Daredevil Trick Track, action-packed with tricks and tracks. It's thrilling, spilling, crashing, smashing. Daredevil Trick Track from Transogram, where the fun comes from. Wow!
This thing's sinking. Better throw out that Wilkins Instant Coffee.
Just me and Wilkins Instant for 80 whole days.
The distant stars. The lonely, helpless earth. The 21st century. The world of the future. And lurking beyond the cold, strange immensity of conquered space. Growing and spreading beyond the warped imagination of the greatest human intellect. Exploding in unspeakable horror. The green slime. The civilized world at war with alien form, whose slimy touch means instant, horrible death. Invaders from beyond the stars. The green slime. Robert Horton. Luciana Paluzzi. Richard Jacob.
You make too many mistakes. You're not right for command.
This is my command, and I'll manage it.
Two men struggle for survival in the infected remains of a diseased universe. One woman searches for a last chance to save the human race from the desperate hunger of the green slime. A battle in space against faceless beings. A cosmic nightmare that sends you into the incredible, berserk world of green slime! Green slime! Green slime!
The carnage is insane. The monsters look goofy. The special effects are awful. I'm sure the acting is pretty wooden. My goodness. Hundreds are being killed. So Dan Webb's like, green slime. How's that related to what Jeff earns? Oh, I see. Sorry, Jeff. No, today's brief intermission really didn't have anything to do with anything. Kevin R. Smith says, it's like a mothership campaign played for laughs. And it was from a major studio in Panavision. All right. So people out there wonder what content creators like myself actually make. And you do also have to keep in mind that I have a website, right? So what that means is I have all different sort of little revenue streams as far as owning and operating the gaming gig. So it isn't just revenue on videos. So as an example, I'm an affiliate of Drive Through RPG. I'm an affiliate of Kobold Press. I'm an affiliate of Fanatical now. I'm an affiliate of a dice company that I always forget that I'm an affiliate of because I can't even remember what the hell the name of the company is. There you go. So Kevin R. Smith says they guess the YouTube channel makes about $5 a month. Are you trying to insult me, Kevin? Is that what you're aiming to do here? If this channel made $5 a month, there would not be a channel. No, it's not that bad. So I'm more than happy to talk about this. So, as far as YouTube goes, and we have already discussed how the content creators out there, if you don't have 100,000 subscribers, you're getting squeezed. And the people who have more than that, as far as subscribers, are also getting the squeeze, but not as bad as those with fewer than 100,000 subs. But I average about 1,200 to 1,500 views. You thought I was going to say dollars a day. Because you also have to keep in mind there are a lot of videos on this channel. So there are videos that are 10 years old that are still pulling in, like 15, 20 views a day. So, those all add up. So Dan Webb says, and to be clear, the Duct Tape Studio is not in Jeff's mom's basement. No, it's not. It's not. It's not my mom's basement. My mom doesn't even have a basement. So there. Kevin R. Smith says, I was multiplying the revenue from that one video whose stats you posted and multiplying that. Yeah, well, that was what, 318 or something like that? Was the Pirate Borg Cabin Fever? Anyway, Kevin R. Smith says, yeah, I forgot about old videos getting new views too. Yep. Some of my why you should play videos still pull in like 50 views a day. Anyway, DB says, funny thing, the Daily Dope episode 1 of the stream popped up in their feed a few times over the last few weeks. Mine too. And I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, YouTube? It's got like 50 some views or 60 views, and it was a test stream. See, the test stream keeps showing up in my feed. I don't know if you're getting episode 1. I'm getting the test stream that I just left up. Harvey Chuckle says, dude, my whole place is a basement. I've lived in garden apartments in Chicago. I liked them just fine. Thankfully, none of them flooded. DB said one of them was them watching. I'm sorry. I apologize. So, but you got to think, going back that far, granted, it wasn't cutting edge technology, but it wasn't like I was using the cheapest stuff out there either. But a lot of the like overhead camera and stuff like that, that was all put together with pipe, like PVC piping and like duct tape. That's why you get the name. So, he says, he laugh out loud. You were finding your feet. Yeah, I got to admit, and this is, we'll probably make this more like an Ask Me Anything than me spending like a half hour talking about, the little mini streams of revenue I've got. But you may not realize this. It is not the easiest thing in the world to talk to a camera and have no feedback. I mean, yes, there's chat. I can take a glance at chat, but it is still kind of weird. It's not a natural thing. So I keep that in mind. That it's like, if I didn't have chat, and we didn't have people in chat early on. I mean, it was a live stream, but people didn't know about it or anything like that. So yeah, I was talking to basically, myself, which I don't normally do if the camera's not on. Harvey Chuckle says, yeah, unfortunately they've had some water issues. Yeah, luckily I've never had that happen. Dan Webb says, your attitude and joy on gaming is obvious and a big reason why it makes it easy and fun to watch. Revenue aside, quality of your videos is top notch, especially with all the chat you have. I try. So, Bard the Bear Wolfson says, I understand I had to make videos for online school. Yeah. For online classes and that. Not easy. It is not an easy thing. Okay, so we'll do a little bit of an AMA once I kind of regale you with these things. So over the past year, I made on YouTube just over $2,800, which is down from the year prior to that, which was down from the year prior to that. So a couple of years ago, I averaged about somewhere between $350 and $400 a month from YouTube. That's what I would normally pull in, give or take. If there was like a Dungeons and Dragons release, that would tend to be a bigger month, right? That month might end up being $500. If I focused more on, like OSR stuff, smaller publishers for a month, which I tend to do those kind of things, then we might be looking at something like 250, 300-ish. Nowadays, it's about 220 to 250 a month. And weirdly enough, the number of views is about the same. Zoinks! So, not compared to like 2 years ago, but calculation-wise, like for like the, what is it, like CPM or whatever they consider it, it's about the same. It really hasn't changed. In fact, it's gone down as far as how valuable each view is. And it's funny, I'll have people, they'll be like, oh man, you should monetize your channel. These are people who are commenting, I should monetize my channel. And the comment is on YouTube. And it's like, so that advertisement you saw during the video you watched? That's how you, that's a monetized channel. So there's that. Okay. So let's just do like 225 as an average right now. Then I mention it every show. I'm an affiliate of the One Bookshelf sites. So Drive Through RPG. Oh, hey, speaking of that, you want the contest question? Yeah, this show is really just, kind of a stream of consciousness. Okay, so here's your question. First person get it right is going to get a copy of Gods of the Forbidden North, Volume 1 from Pulp Hummock. I remember the publisher. Yeah. Okay. So what is because we're not gonna do a Norse thing, but I will do a northern thing. So what town is located the furthest north on the planet? Okay, anyway, first person who gets that correct is going to win a copy of Gods of the Forbidden North, which is excellent. It is really, really good. It's actually the first mega dungeon. Hey, we're on this mega dungeon theme, aren't we? It's the first mega dungeon that was created specifically for Old School Essentials. DB says, hope you're making Big Scratch tonight. I've had a lot of ads, and one was during the trailer, which is simply not accessible. The other thing too is that the live streams and the regular videos, like if I upload a review video or first look, their monetization is separate. Kind of a bit of a scam. Roy Goodman's with us in chat tonight, and they have the correct answer. So, yes, they did misspell the town, but that is how the town is pronounced. So, that is the winner. So, Roy, what you got to do, shoot me an email from the email address that's associated with your YouTube account. I will get you a link to your copy of the first volume of Gods of the Forbidden North from my friends over at Pulp Hummock Press. Okay, so anyways, as far as the drive-through RPG goes, that averages about $100 a month. So my little 5% commissions, and I do have to point out, I don't get commission on everything that's bought over through my affiliate link. There are things that I do not earn any sort of commission on. There are some things that I only get like 1% on. And it's kind of like, okay, so that was $3. I get 1% of the $3. But for the most part, it is $100 on average. Now, I also point out that the commissions from Drive-Thru RPG is what keeps gaminggang.com around. That is very true, because the hosting for the gaminggang.com is $75 a month. So when I tell you, I haven't said this in a long time, but I used to always say, and we don't have GoDaddy $3 hosting. I think it's probably like $5 or maybe even $10 now. But that is what it costs to keep the gaminggang.com running. That's the hosting. And then, of course, I do have the domain name, which has to be renewed. I usually renew it for 2 years at a time. So where are we at right now? 350, right? We're at 350. Okay, let's see. What else? As far as like Kobold Press and Fanatical, as far as being an affiliate with that, I haven't been long enough to really figure anything out with those. I also sell copies of Knights and Magic, the old heritage models, fantasy and historical, miniatures rules. That usually brings in about 75 a month, give or take. So now we're at 425. As far as sponsors, every once in a while I'll get a sponsor. Every once in a while I will get a Kickstarter preview. I might do some consulting on Kickstarters from time to time. But that's not something that I, sit there and go, oh, well, okay, that's another 500 a month. Because there's times where it's like, wow, okay, well, I had a good month. That was like $800 in sponsors and, ads and stuff like that. And maybe I do a Kickstarter preview. And then I go 2 months with saying no, because I don't just take every Kickstarter preview that's offered to me. Because there's some stuff where I just take a look at it and I'm like, yeah, this, for one, it's not going to be something for me. So I'm not one of these people who wants to be like, oh yeah, this is the best engine building board game I've played until I play the next engine building board game. So Roy Goodman says, why did he want to know the most northern town? It was for the contest. That's pretty funny. Denny Wan's with us again. Welcome to chat. So what am I forgetting something? I'm wondering if I'm leaving something out. So I've got the YouTube monetization. I've got the One Bookshelf sites. I've got some other affiliations, which I don't know, maybe $20 a month. And I got the 75 or so on the Knights and Magic. And I think that's it. Well, once again, like I said, sometimes do. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Jen Kakos is with us tonight. The Patreon. Thank you. That's why I'm sitting there. I'm like, I'm missing something. What am I missing? Yes, the Patreon. And the Patreon for about the last year-ish is about 150. And then, of course, Patreon takes, their cut of it, which isn't huge. It's certainly not YouTube Super Chat huge. And when I talk about the YouTube monetization, that also includes those Super Chats. And Agile Monk is a super cool person. Kind of have a conversation going with them outside of chat, over actually on Discord, really. And really, really nice guy. Has some stuff in the hopper that it might blow your mind when it comes out. But those Super Chats he'll pop up there, it's like, oh, okay, $9.99. Well, then YouTube takes 5 of that. It's like, so I'm always like, hey, if you want to do like a one-time donation through PayPal, that's your better deal. I'll give you a shout out on the show for it, probably for a few days, as opposed to doing a Super Chat. And I know, I get it. YouTube wants that. If I get Super Chats in chat, maybe it'll show the video to more people. Agile Monk's awesome, says Kevin R. Smith. Seems like he's financially keeping the low end of the hobby alive, both publishers and content creators. Denny One says, what? That's a lot. Do you mean the Patreon? I should also point out, currently, 3 Patreon members are providing $75. So because we have different levels, Kevin R. Smith says, I think Agile Monk's trying to use super chats to hype the channel. Yes, I get it. Oh, then he wants says the part YouTube takes. Yeah, it's about 50%. It is about 50%. Just like their memberships. I don't do memberships to the channel. I know that's probably another reason why YouTube doesn't want to, do any sort of like sharing notifications to people who have subscribed and selected all notifications, because I don't do the membership thing, because to me, I think that's a scam. It's like, I'm not going to have a Patreon and then have a membership to YouTube, because once again, they'll take 50% of that as well. So anyway, so let's see. So we're at, so we're about 225 for the YouTube monetization, 150 for the Patreon. So that puts us at 375. When it's all said and done, after I deduct the hosting fee from, let's say, the drive-through RPG, that's 25. So that's going to put me at 400. And then let's say on average, with sponsors and people who buy ads on the website and Kickstarter previews, let's say on average, that's another, say 150. And maybe we sprinkle in like 75 from the Knights and Magic. There you have it. Yep. I'm getting rich, ladies and gents. I'm just rubbing it in your faces. I guess it's a good thing I love this hobby, huh? And, don't get me wrong, too. I really enjoy the time I get to spend doing the live streams, people showing up in chat, kind of going back and forth, trying to have a little bit of a discussion with folks in chat. I dig that. And something else I also keep in mind is doing this is not only good for my mental health, I'm sure it's also good for a lot of other people who happen to watch, their mental health. Because with just, the sheer amount of shit that comes down on a daily basis on everybody's heads, sometimes you just need, just a little time to just decompress and be sitting there and be like, yeah, okay. So, let's watch this stupid ass talk about role-playing games for a while. Here you go. I hope he's got a good brief intermission tonight. I'm hoping. So there you go. So Bard the Bear Wolfson says, yeah, you get more in review books than money. Yeah, I get that. Right. And yes, I do, do the auctions and stuff like that. I donate some stuff, but other stuff I will sell when I do, every 6 months or so, I'll do actually it's just more an online sale. I don't really do the auction aspect of it anymore. And then I'll bring some stuff to like Gen Con. So there's that as well. But you also have to keep in mind See, there's other expenses here too. It's not just $75 a month for the hosting of the website. You know, there's equipment, there's lighting. The lighting that I utilize, you notice it is a natural light. So it doesn't have it. We're not using regular light bulbs here because that would give off like a yellow tint. Oh God, awful. Ooh, awful. But these lights don't last too long, and they are not cheap. Luminol says a new gaming chair. Yeah, I'm not going to do that. By the way, welcome, Omenal. Good to see you again. Steak Swirl is with us. I think this might be a first-time visit in chat. So welcome aboard. Says at least your bookshelf is immaculate. I don't know if it's immaculate, but, you know, we'll move into like the kind of AMA aspect of tonight's show in just a moment. So there are expenses. Thankfully, I keep my fingers crossed because I bought these cameras used. So thankfully, oh man, as soon as I say this, something's going to go wrong. So thankfully, I don't actually record anything on these cameras unless I'm at a convention. So like what you're seeing right now, that's just a feed through the camera. That's it. That's all it is. So there really isn't a lot of wear and tear on the camera that I'm using. So they're both Panasonics, both Lumix. But if like one of those goes, it'll be like, oh shit, I think I'm going to have to rethink what I'm doing here because they were not inexpensive to purchase. And we know, I mean, all our prices have gone, right down. So super easy to replace. Oh, yeah. And then, of course, like if I go to conventions. So I've had people ask, well, so what does it really cost you to go to Gen Con? And, I pay for a room just like everybody else. So a lot of times we're not staying downtown this year because it was like we stayed downtown. We were real close to the convention center and we paid dearly for it. But the way the hotel was set up, we had to walk all over the fucking place just to get into the hotel and vice versa. So we are actually staying about 15 minutes away in an area I have stayed at before, and we got a rockin' deal on the hotel because I guess they didn't realize it's Gen Con. So we got like the normal rates, and it's supposed to be a pretty good, pretty decent hotel that we're going to stay at. And I said, hey, you know what, for what we're going to save, not staying downtown. And then we also got like a fairly late time for the housing portal. So I was like, there's not going to be anything left. So I was like, thank goodness I had already booked. I could cancel it, but I had already booked this room where it was like, oh, they don't realize what Gen Con is. But it's normally about $1,000 to go to Gen Con. That's the hotel and food, and don't cover more conventions. It's like, man, I can't. Now it's just YouTube probably figures, oh, we use enough bandwidth on Jeff today. So I just typed into chat, is it still locked? Try refreshing. See if refreshing the page will clear that up, because if it doesn't, then I'll just wrap things up. Okay, W Ford says it's working now. Seems okay. All right. So yeah, so there you go. So that is that's what I earn from operating the gaming gang. So I would say on average, deducting expenses and stuff like that, we're probably looking at about maybe $500. And then if I go to conventions and stuff like that, that comes out of those funds too. So, yeah, like I said, it's a good thing I enjoy the hobby as much as I do. But like I said as well, I don't know if I was frozen at this point in time, but I do understand that, you know, at this point in time, people need to be able to decompress after just all the ridiculousness that surrounds us in the world, both outside and inside our homes. So if I can help people feel a little better for 10 minutes during a review or 90 minutes during a stream, well, then, you know, I'll keep doing it. I'll keep doing it. Like I said, when I pointed out the post that was on social media, also here on YouTube, about getting squeezed out, and I said, I never said I wasn't going to fight. I didn't say I was giving up. You didn't see me put a thumbnail up there saying, this is the end or I'm done. No. But it's also important to note that if there are content creators out there who you enjoy and you want to see stick around, watch them whenever you have an opportunity to watch them. And when you watch them, because I talked about this before, the latest goofiness with YouTube is that they're looking at the viewer satisfaction, which has nothing to do with you subscribing to a channel or hitting the thumbs up or anything like that, hyping it on mobile devices. It's, do you watch a video from the same channel immediately following the video you just watched? Which, if you're someone who religiously watches a channel, you don't have anything new to watch because you've watched everything. Omanel says, you'd think watch time would count as interaction. Watch time really doesn't count outside of a negative. So if 30 seconds into a video, you're at like 20% of people still watching, yeah, that's going to hurt you. I run about 59%. And I find that really weird because it's sort of like, but I get it. People have the attention spans of fleas now. But it's sort of like, how do you know anything about the video 30 seconds in? It's like, ooh, I don't like how that person looks. Ooh, I don't like how he's got the owl bear and the displacer beast behind him. Ooh, no, I gotta go. So yeah, people tell me they hate the stuff I've got behind me. It makes me look like a child. I don't give a shit what you think. Maybe this will come as a shock to many of you out there. I say it all the time. I really appreciate you taking time out to watch the videos and stuff. But on average, the individual viewer's opinion on something I am not overly concerned about. I'm not. Now, there's some folks who hang out and watch the show who I actually know, kind of, right? I've corresponded with a bit through direct messaging or emails and stuff like that. But like just the average person who pops in every once in a while and watches a stream, try to give me advice on something, I'll be like, yeah, okay. Especially if they don't have a channel. I love when I get comments like that. Hey, you know what you need to do? Oh, I do? And then I'll go take a look at that person that's like, not a single video, huh? Nothing? All right. Omanel says, There are times I don't have time to watch the full video, so I click on 5 to 20 seconds before switching. Myself personally, if I don't have time to watch a video, and I don't mean the entire video, but at least a few minutes of it, or maybe I can skip to a point that, I want to check out, I just won't click on it. Because as a content creator, I know if I click on a video and then I immediately click off, that counts against that content creator. It shows I was dissatisfied with their video. Man says, never give up, never surrender. Maybe I should go get my Goonies t-shirt from upstairs and put it on. Sticks Roll asks, how does hitting a thumbs up not have anything to do with viewer satisfaction? It's YouTube, baby. I can't explain it. And we talked about this before, that, the goalposts continue to move. Not that I would sit there and, kowtow to the AI slop or clickbait titles and things along those lines. It's just not my style. So Owen else says, maybe I accidentally clicked on a video to watch later or put into my history for later. Yeah, I'm not busting your chops. All I'm saying is that knowing how things supposedly operate in the YouTube sphere, I try not to, if it's a content creator I like, who I will go and watch their stuff, I try to make sure that I don't leave YouTube from their video. Also counts against channels. There's a lot of shit that counts against a content creator. Not a ton of stuff that's very helpful. And I get it. Nobody wants to give out their algorithm, right? Nobody wants to tell you how the sausage is made. Just consume the sausage. But when you've got, AI garbage, and yes, I know YouTube was, oh, well, we really knuckled down on that. No, you didn't. You demonetized channels, but you're still promoting trash. So, Omanal says, YouTube would think if I subscribe, maybe I want to see what videos they have. They hide stuff that doesn't help. And they don't teach people how to use YouTube either. So even if you subscribe, you click on the bell, and then you even go through the extra effort to click on all notifications on that bell, maybe you'll get a notification, maybe you won't. Now, as far as the live stream, I'm sure some people probably get the notification after the stream has ended. That is a possibility. If that is the case, well, you're probably lucky that you at least got the notification. I really love the fact I don't take this deadly seriously. Because if I did, it would be super depressing. It really would. I'd be like, oh, people don't like the channel anymore. And maybe they don't. I've had people say, well, your videos all look like they did 3 years ago. Okay. I can name a lot of outlets out there that their videos look the same as they did 3 or 5 years ago. And they're very popular channels. And they get a lot of views. So that's maybe not necessarily it. But, I don't know. Like I said before, what am I supposed to juggle the game books as I'm reviewing them or pull out the pages as I go flipping on through? How much can I do with the game book that I'm reviewing, right? Outside of showing you the book. Hey, at least I show you the book. Some people just take images from the PDF and go with it from that. At least I'm showing you the, production quality of the book. To me, I think you get a better a better feel for how the artwork pops off the page. So Dan Whip said there's actually goalposts. Bard the Bear Wolfson says, I got the notification while the show is on. If I'm, hey, maybe I'm misreading this. I got the notification while the show is on. If I'm on, if not, it's after. Okay. Now I understand. Yeah, I had people tell me that their notifications work better on their phone than it does on their computers and stuff like that. It's Agile Monk says, Jeff, just don't show any skin. Not the game plan. It is not on my agenda. Yeah, I've had like little, real short bike shorts. Sort of, God, I can't remember the actor's name. Reno 911. That character, yeah, I'll be like, I'll have a crop top on. I'll be like, hey, everybody. I'm here to review Adventure Conquer King System 2, or what is it, Imperial Imprint or whatever? Yeah. Sure thing. Agile Monk says they literally reset their notifications on both mobile and computer on a weekly basis to ensure they are set. All right, so a few more minutes, and then I will, yeah. Okay. Anyway, I was going to say just a few more minutes. Anybody want to hit me with a question? So, because I don't want to, I don't want to beat people over the head with his YouTube stuff. It's like, you know, I'm not a big fan of the phrase, it is what it is, but it is what it is. So there you go. Danny Cable says, spin the plates. I remember that going all the way back to Bozo Circus on WGN in Chicago. So, okay. Favorite artists, books, etc. None of your goddamn business. See, favorite artists. I will be the first to point out I am not necessarily a classical art person. I do like Van Gogh. I will say that. And I like Waterford. I believe that was their name, although that's really not necessarily. I mean, yeah, well, I mean, it is like 19th century, but still. Books, etc. You know what? Well, I'll do something like that next AMA, Omanol. Because I don't mind. I don't mind sharing, you know, like some of my favorite movies, favorite TV shows. My absolute favorite movie, and this is not some sort of trying to think of the word that I would want to use. I guess I can't think of the word I want to use. But the reality is, my favorite movie is Citizen Kane. I really like Orson Welles. I think he kind of fucked himself over too. But I think he really got jobbed by Hollywood. And I think he was a pretty talented guy. But one of the reasons why I really dig Citizen Kane is because of how many things were done for the very first time cinematically in Citizen Kane. And even though it's in black and white, it does not look like a movie shot in 1941, I believe it was. So, and then I'm a big fan of Casablanca because I think dialogue-wise, I think Casablanca is just fantastic. There's so many phrases in that movie that people use, and probably a lot of them don't realize where the phrase originates from, such as round up the usual suspects. Another great movie. So, someone else says Project Hail Mary was worth seeing. I'll probably get around to seeing that. I should also mention I am house sitting tomorrow and Saturday, so we might only have one review before I come back for Tuesday's show. Someone else says they love Dr. Strangelove. Awesome movie. Just an awesome movie. Omen else says, play it again, Sam. Something that's never said in the movie. The closest that Humphrey Bogart comes to that is you played it for her, you can play it for me. Play it. But he never says play it again, Sam. And neither does Ingrid Bergman either. Dan Webb says, here's looking at you, Jeff. I think this is the start of a beautiful friendship. Actually, one of my favorite parts in Casablanca is, now I can't remember the actor's name. Plays Louis. God, my memory is terrible today. But he plays the Vichy French police captain or whatever, and he's in the casino and they're busting the casino, and he's like, I'm shocked to find gambling going on in this establishment. And the dealer walks over and says, oh, here's your winnings, sir. And he's like, oh, thank you. Yes. I wanted to say Frederick Marsh, but it's not Frederick Marsh. It's a completely different actor. The actor did play the Invisible Man, though. So there's that. W4 says, I'm a drunkard. That makes me a citizen of the world. Yes. When the Nazi officer is asking Rick what his nationality is, I think he says to Rick, he says, so you're an American? And Bogart replies, no, I'm a drunkard. All right. I will get to two of the questions. So Bard the Bear Wolfson asks, how hard was it to get started getting review copies? We have to remember, when I got started, we launched in September of 2010. So we're going way back, and our focus was board games, not role-playing games. And at that point in time, there were not a lot of outlets out there. And to my knowledge, we were the first to actually have a website that shared news and published reviews and did a podcast. To my knowledge, we were the first to do that. And, funny enough, the Gaming Gang would be a far more popular outlet overall if Elliot and I hadn't butted heads. So, and a lot of it is my fault. I've mentioned that before. I took it way too seriously. But I also have to point out that, my name is all over this thing. So if you do something that makes the Gaming Gang look bad, that makes me look bad. And if I'm going to look bad, it better be because of something I was stupid to do, not because of something else. But yeah. Anyway. So it wasn't too tough. In fact, one of the things, I've mentioned this before, Claude Rains. Thank you, W Forge. That's why I was getting the Claude part. I'm like, damn it, what the hell's his last name? Peter Lorre, Sidney Greenstreet. Yeah, it rolls right off. Claude Rains. Anywho. So we did an entire month of posting news and we had a few reviews up. And then we let people know that we were around. And, you know, it wasn't like they went to the website, because this is a problem that people have when they start something. As soon as they've done one thing, they want everybody to know about it. It's like, oh, you got to check out my website. And it's like, okay, so here you've got an article and that's it. Okay. More than likely, I'm not coming back, right? Or you go to a channel, it's got like one video. And like, oh, okay, well, that was all right. But so we had an entire month, and you know, it was multiple posts a day, multiple news pieces, all this other stuff. And people were like, how have I not heard of you guys? It's kind of like, well, we weren't around. So I was like, oh, yeah. Well, they're like, oh. So it wasn't too difficult. You know, somebody had emailed me just the other day and they were asking the same thing. They were asking for some advice on how to go about getting physical review copies. And I went and looked at their channel and they had about a dozen videos, but none of the videos were obviously reviews. So I was like, So and they were talking about how when they kind of gave me like what they write when they reach out to a publisher. And one of the things that I don't really do is chase after review copies. Now, if there's something out there that I'm like, yeah, you know, I really would like to review that, I'll reach out, especially if it's a publisher that I've done something for, but maybe it was years ago. So as an example, I'm curious about the Necromancer's game from Mythmere Games. So I did reach out to Mythmere Games and never heard anything back. So I was like, okay, all right. I know they know who I am, but I was like, oh, all right, whatever. But for the most part, I normally don't approach a company and be like, oh, hey, maybe you've never heard of me, blah, blah, blah. I'd like a review copy. Now, I might introduce myself to a company and say, hey, you know, I like the cut of your jib as far as the releases I've seen coming out from you. Do you have a press list that you can send me news pieces that I can share with my audience? And then I might have people who will say, hey, would you like to review something? Just like at conventions. If I go up to a company that I'm not familiar with, that they don't know me, but I'm interested in finding out more about their games, I'll just go and talk to them and give them a card, introduce myself. Sometimes they know the gaming gang. Sometimes they don't know the gaming gang. We talk a little bit and I tell them, hey, you got my card in your hand. Hang on to it. When you've got press releases, throw the press releases out. And then they might ask, well, would you like to review XYZ or whatever? And there are times where I will say, no, it's probably not for my audience. I will turn down review copies. Just like if you tuned in a little bit late, I will turn down offers to do Kickstarter previews or inquiries to do Kickstarter previews if it's something that just isn't catching my eye, or I just don't think my audience would really get into. Because I don't want to charge somebody for a Kickstarter preview and then end up with the video getting 100 views for them. And they're going to be like, why the hell did I do that? You're like, yeah, wrong audience. I don't know what to tell you. So yeah, so I was kind of surprised, but I have seen that at conventions. I've been at conventions and Elliot and I are talking to somebody I know at a publisher, like a Wolfgang Bauer, or a Dominic McDowell or a T.S. Lukehart, maybe a Stephen Chenault, and somebody comes up and actually interrupts the conversation, which right there I think is not what I mean. I don't really care, but to me that shows me that, yeah, that's a rude person. And they'd be like, "Oh, hey, I'm so and so. I'm with what up, blah blah blah, and I'd really like to review A, B, C, and D." I have yet to ever see that work. Even if they're not interrupting somebody having a conversation with us, I have seen that, and I never see it work. So, but as far as, getting review copies and stuff, no, not really. Like I said, every once in a while, it's something that maybe I'm kind of curious about, and I'll reach out, and I just never hear anything back from the company. And to me, I think that's rude. I really do. You could take a moment just to email me and say, "Hey, thanks for reaching out, but we don't really send out too many review copies, or maybe we've already sent out our allotment of review copies." Well, okay, that's fine. Thank you for at least, getting back to me. But to just be like, nah, whatever. We're not going to bother replying. Sadly, there are publishers out there who think they are far, far bigger than they actually are. And that they have a far, far bigger impact on our hobby as a whole than they actually do. What can you do? What can you do? I'll tell you what I do. I focus on the companies that treat me right, who I am friends with. Some of the folks who are part of their organizations, I consider them to be, friends in the industry, pals in the industry and stuff. So that's what I like to do. That's why if you sit there and I do try to float out some news pieces for smaller publishers, first timers, stuff like that. But there are some companies that if there's something new or something they're taking pre-orders for, you're going to hear about it, because I'm pretty tight with those companies and with the people who either run them or handle their merchandising or marketing or PR or whatever you want to consider it. Bart the Bear Wolfson says, just keep a high level of professionalism. I try to do that as well. So, I mean, I don't sit there going off on people and that. Anyway, so that is the answer to that question. W. Ford says, Touch of Evil is their favorite Wells movie. Yeah, that opening, that just long shot, that is super, super cool. Let's see. There was another question. Oh, are you going to review the Pendragon Game Master screen pack? I've got some items coming from Chaosium Inc. It is not one of them. And I've got the Call of Cthulhu Campfire Tales and Cthulhu by Gaslight, Dust and Blood. And I did ask if it was possible to do a review of the 50th anniversary Call of Cthulhu limited edition slipcase set. That is also coming my way. So I will wait before asking, hey, would you mind if you send me that Pendragon Game Master screen pack? But yeah, I wouldn't mind, because I think it has an adventure with it. Righty. Let's see. I thought there was one more kind of quick question after how hard is it to get started reviewing or getting review copies. Like I said, when I began, it wasn't difficult. Now it's still really not difficult. And for the most part, I get emails to me. I don't reach out. All right. I think that might be. Oh, Bard the Bear Wolfson says they meant them for the high level of professionalism. Yeah, my answer, if somebody wants to get started with this, is not going to be don't. And I know there are a lot of content creators out there who would tell you that. No, you know, this isn't the right time. Don't know. No. Why would I tell you that? Enjoy the misery with the rest of us. What I would tell people who want to get started is don't chase after review copies from publishers, because there are so many reviewers out there. There are just tons and tons of reviewers out there. What I told the person who sent me the email was that what I would recommend is introduce yourself to the publishers and look to get news out about them and do reviews of stuff you already have. Show people this is how your reviews are. Yeah, do 4 or 5. I didn't say 4 or 5, but I'd say, do 4 or 5 reviews of things you already own. You don't necessarily have to say that they're not review copies. You don't have to say anything because you bought it. You don't have to disclose anything. It's only if you're getting paid to talk about something that you have to mention that. So that would be my approach as far as getting started talking to publishers about getting review copies. And don't take it personal if they tell you no. And the reason is because if publishers out there gave away every board game that a reviewer asked for, every role-playing game a reviewer asked for, they wouldn't have anything to sell. They wouldn't be in business anymore. So that's something else that has to be understood also. I would also kind of say that maybe try to pick a niche and start off with that. And don't make the niche like Dungeons and Dragons. I wouldn't go in that. There's too much competition out there. Nobody's going to ever see your content. So, and have something new to say. If you're going to just be another rage baiter, which I'm sure Bard the Bear Wolfson would not be. I think Bard the Bear Wolfson was just kind of asking. They were kind of curious about how tough it is to get review copies and that. But if you're just going to be someone who sits there and scours the internet for the latest crumb of scandal regarding Wizards of the Coast, there's other people out there who are far better at rage baiting than you'll ever be. But then again, there aren't a whole hell of a lot of content creators out there who focus on, I don't know, let's say Old School Essentials releases or Old School Essentials and Shadow Dark. Things like that. And it's got to be something that you really enjoy. It can't be something that you're like, yeah, well, I know people will watch this. Because if you're not genuine, people are going to know. If you're like faking enthusiasm for something, you're faking orgasms on your videos, people are going to know. True Ichiban's with us tonight. Welcome aboard. I think I said hello to Testy Trekkie. Maybe not. Bard the Bear Wolfson says they're going back to school for marketing. Hope to work in gaming. I would start reaching out to companies now. Once you're taking classes, I would say if there's some companies out there that you really like, you could float out to them and make it more about, hey, I love your products. I've been buying XYZ game for years and everything that comes out for it. I'm taking marketing. I'm getting my degree in marketing. I would love to work in gaming. Are there any tips, or could you maybe point me in the right direction? Because a lot of times people really like when someone contacts them asking for some information from your expertise, right? People like, it's like, oh, hey, they want to know something about what I know. Fantastic. And you never know who's looking to hire, right? Troy Cornelson's with us, says, I hate the rage people. I know. Now, that doesn't mean I don't tackle like a controversial topic here and there, but I try to keep it fairly civil. Pliskin's with us tonight as well, as I'm about to wrap things up. Bard the Bear Wilson says they've got 2 degrees in entertainment business now. Yeah, well, you don't need my advice. Shit. I should be asking you about entertainment. How do I entertain people? All right. So that is it for this time out. So a little information about what I actually earn running the gaming gang. Far less than probably some folks out there thought. Maybe more than other people thought. I mean, Kevin R. Smith thought I made $5. Well, I take that back. $5 a video. Anyway. So, if you're watching live, thank you very much. If you watch live and took part in chat, tip of the cap to you. Because not only are you keeping me company, you're keeping each other company while I share the news or the brief intermission comes on, or I'm babbling on about some topic that you're just mildly interested in. But I know a lot of folks out there, you don't have an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you for taking time out to watch any of the videos here on the channel. Now, of course, when you're not watching the channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on YouTube. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you like the video, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ring that bell. Because it'll not only, yeah, right. Should I just stop saying this? Because we know it's not true. Doesn't do it. Okay. So you ring the bell. If you ring the bell, please select all notifications. If you want to be notified when the stream airs Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday evenings at 7 p.m. Central, or when I share other videos, such as my review of Pirate Board Cabin Fever from Limithron. Although we do know that the notifications don't always work. Maybe a 50-50 shot at that. I don't know. Anyway, enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it is in your neck of the woods. Enjoy the rest of the week. Have a great weekend. I'll be back again on Tuesday. I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching. And until I see you next time, I certainly hope all of you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang.